Happy Sunday morning. Not sure how many people be on. I'm not sitting in church right now. Normally I am. But just hanging around a little bit. You know how fast you get tired of that Christmas food. But welcome to G's Threefold Harvest. If you've never been here before, I'd ask that you subscribe to my little old channel. You'll see it's a very small channel. I'm trying to grow the channel, and I would appreciate a subscription from you guys if you've never been here before. I hope you had a Merry Christmas so far, and praying that you'll have a safe and joyous new year to come in just a few more days. But I'm about to fix some cube steak with gravy and just rice. Really not even any greens. I don't want anything green. Just something I decide spur of the moment. Normally I would have been in church this morning. But I'm just going to do that. I already got everything started. Got my rice pretty much already done. You know it's nothing to making rice. When I make rice, I just use salt and pepper and just a little bit of old fat meat grease. If you ever find yourself needing or wanting a recipe from any of my videos that you see on my channel, just comment or message me and let me know, and I'll be happy to share those videos with you. Share the video if you like, if you know someone that may want to cook some of the items that you see on my channel. Again, the channel is fairly new. As far as me trying to build the channel is fairly new. I've had the channel since 2017, but not really using it so that I could view other people's videos. So I still view other people's videos, but I like to share some of my recipes, some of my experiences, and information that I share on my channel. And I appreciate you guys coming on and sharing and subscribing if you haven't already. Now, I mentioned that my rice is already done. What I do, I take Campbell's chicken noodle soup. It could be Campbell's rice. You know, it would preferably chicken with rice, but I don't have any. So what I do, once my rice get done, to be able to give it some flavor, I actually pour this into my rice after it's done. And it gives it a great, unique flavor. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pop this can and pour it in the rice. It's already done. Good morning. Caraman, good morning. Good morning. I'm fine this morning. Are you? Hopefully you are. But I'm about to, you may have heard me say that I was cooking cube steak. I've already seasoned it with salt and pepper, and there's my onions that I'll pop on top of it. And my rice is already done. So to give the rice a little extra flavor, I don't put the noodles in. If it was a chicken with rice soup, if it was the chicken with rice instead of the chicken noodle, I probably would go ahead and pour the noodles in. But I'm just using the juice from the chicken and rice. It gives your rice an extra kick, so to speak, but it gives it a brothy flavor without using all that imitation chicken broth that you buy in the box. This gives it a great flavor. So I'm actually holding the noodles and keeping the noodles from falling into the rice. And then I just mix it up. I see a couple of noodles fell in there, but that's okay. And yeah, that broth gives it a very good taste. Actually, when you cook your rice this way, by pouring the noodles soup in there, if you decide to make this rice, make sure you buy the Campbell's chicken with rice, not the Campbell's chicken noodle that I have here, okay? and then just pour the whole can in there since it would be rice. So that's done, but that noodle soup actually flavors up the rice really good. Got my grease already heating up for the cube steak. I've already seasoned my cube steak, but I'm going to batter it here a little bit. This same batter, I'll be making gravy with that. If you don't have time to watch the entire video, just wait till the live go off and come back and watch it. So you can see everything finished. The only other thing that I'm going to fix this morning is some biscuits. Biscuits were pre-made. If you don't know how to make biscuits, go online and look at my biscuit recipe, homemade biscuit recipe. Go to my channel and look at that. And even though I have a video up there already making biscuits, I probably will be putting an updated one on there. So stay tuned for that as well. Tune in for that as well when you get ready. So this is just, you can actually coat your cube steak with any kind of flour. It doesn't have to be self-rising flour. This happened to be self-rising flour. And some people put their cube steak in a bag and shake it up, but either way is fine. Good morning, Juden, I believe. Hello, how are you? Thank you for tuning in. If you can't stay, just come back after the live ends and look at the entire video. If you missed the title, I'm actually making just a little bit of Sunday dinner, which consists of cube steak, rice, and gravy. And that's it. No greens. Normally some greens, but you know how it is. During Christmas, I had my share of greens. And whereas it's a blessing to have anything to eat any day of the week, you can get tired of that Christmas meal very quickly. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to put it in here, let it fry. I'm not going to let it fry hard because once this gets ready, once the cube steak gets ready, I'm actually going to take it out and make gravy in the leftover grease. So how was you guys' Christmas? Christmas came fast and it went fast, didn't it? Hopefully everybody enjoyed Christmas. And if you have children, I hope your children got everything on their little heart's desire. Yes, and I have a time trying to see. For you that's just coming on, let us see the food. Okay. Okay, there are my little onions waiting. I just put them in after. Let me take you over here. This is, I guess you can see it, the cube steak. And the only thing that it's doing right now is frying. The rice, you probably weren't on. I guess you can see the food, but the only thing it's doing right now is frying. And I'm going to take it up, and I'll show you the food, the finished product later. It's just frying right now. And I'm not going to let it fry really hard because I don't want it to be tough. You fry your cube steak first. Make sure it gets done. And I got the eye a little bit low, let it get done. And then when it gets almost done, I'll put half of the onions on it and take it off because I don't want the onions to burn. And then the only other thing that I'm fixing is the rice. You know, the rice is pretty much already ready. Rice is, let me take this over here. Rice is simple to make, but the thing that I did do is you add a can of chicken with rice in it for the brothy taste. This says chicken noodles, so I only strained the juice out of this. But I didn't have chicken with rice today, so I strained it and put the juice in the rice after the rice cooked. Now you can't see the broth in it. It looks like it may be just plain rice, but this thing is turning crazy on me. See the rice? It may look like plain rice, and this is sticky rice. That old-fashioned Mahatma rice. That's all that is, and it's delicious if you can sit down and eat it by itself without anything, because it won't taste dry or anything like that with this in it. And you only add this in there after the rice cooked with just a little bit of old grease that you've already cooked something in, maybe a tablespoon, salt and pepper. Let the rice get as done as you like it. Some people don't like the rice mushy. I don't like mine mushy. That looks a little mushy, but it's not. And then once it gets done, then I pour a can of Campbell's chicken and rice in there. Stir it up together, shut the pot off, cover the pot up. And that's it. You know, and it just sits there and like seasons itself. I don't know why. I've got my phone. Good morning or afternoon, Eileen. Agnes. What the seasoning that I use for the meat. I only use salt and pepper on all of my meats because I don't like that high seasoning that you see everybody use here on YouTube. I don't like a lot of seasoning. It just like be overkill. Sometimes I may use a little garlic, but I didn't put anything on this meat. Like when I bake some chicken, if you look at my baked chicken video, I use garlic in that, and I use poultry seasoning. If it's chicken, it's always wise to use chicken seasoning, poultry seasoning, or some type of chicken seasoning that contains the sage and the poultry seasoning. It just seems like it's made for chicken. So that one, you can look at that video if you haven't looked at it. And again, like I said, so you'll know when I'm coming on, or you can go and look at all the videos. Subscribe to the channel, and I would appreciate it. So I got this cooking just a little bit high, a little bit on the big side. You know, this stove is designed to cook high on one side and low on the other side. Now it's at the point where I really need to just throw the onions in there really quick. Throw the onions in there really quick and take it out because it's cooking really fast. When it get like that, I just turn it off. It started cooking a little fast for me. So I'm about to take it out. I didn't get to put the onions on this, but the onions are going to be in the gravy. It just started cooking too fast. And these other ones that I already have battered, I have two more. The pan was a little small to fry those, because I didn't intend for them to get this brown. See how greasy they look as well, because they're going in gravy. Once it goes in gravy, that's gonna make the meal. And it goes in gravy. You don't want it cooked real, like real done, because when you put it in the gravy, it actually will continue to cook. Okay, so I can go ahead and get my biscuits in my little double pan. These little old cake pans, they're older than my Methuselah. See how old they are? Normally I cook my biscuits in, well, most of the time I cook them in these. But I have a little flat pan that I cook them in when if I cook a lot of biscuits. I don't have a reason to cook a lot of biscuits. This is normally what I like to cook the biscuits in. But it gets so hot, but I like for this to be full of biscuits when I use this. So being it's gonna be like this 4 biscuits, I'm gonna not use this today. But if you do use if you do decide to use a little baking pan, a little baking dish, or a cake dish, I double it, cause I keep my oven I tune the oven in at anywhere between 450 and 475. Okay, that's high, but it depends on your oven, the way your oven works. If your oven works slow, it may be safe to do that, or if your oven works fast, like tend to overheat, you know your own oven. So put your setting depending on how your oven works. Like back in the day, when my mother cooked biscuits, these are biscuits that we made. Actually, my husband made these. And we make a lot of them so that we don't have to make biscuits every time we need to eat some. And you just make enough and freeze your excess. And they are better than any biscuit you can actually buy in the store. Thank you, Aunt Agnes. I think I answered everybody's question. But so it's so much easier. These little frozen biscuits, any of you ever buy frozen biscuits out of the store, it saves you a lot of money to just buy a $4 bag of flour, and you probably can make 100 biscuits. And you're just using buttermilk and butter, or margarine if you want to use margarine, and butter. Well, butter or margarine and buttermilk, or any kind of milk. But buttermilk definitely makes them taste better. So I won't put these biscuits in until about 10 minutes before the food is actually ready. These are my onions that had already pre-cut, and that other pieces of steak were cooking so fast, I didn't get to brown them a little bit, but I'm just going to throw them in here with these little 2 pieces. And just let them brown a little bit. I mostly want the onions for the gravy and to give the overall meal a little zing. Yeah, it'll cook too fast on one side of the stove. So depending on your stove, like my mom used to cook her biscuits, what I was saying, on 350. And that explains why her biscuits, even though they kept us full and fed back in the day, they were a little dried out. So you put your oven on 350, you're gonna take longer to cook the biscuits. And meanwhile, it causes the biscuits to dry out. That's why it's best to use a high temperature when you're cooking the biscuits. And these biscuits will rise they may increase in height maybe at least a ½ inch. At least. But we always make excessive amount of biscuits and freeze the other ones, making sure to seal your bag. Being sure to seal your bag, and then you put them back for breakfast in the morning or the next day. Now this bag was full. Took our Took my son a few of them out, so when I go visit him again, I'll take him some because he likes them as well. Biscuits are easy to cook. They are very, very easy to cook. And they are better than any biscuit you can buy out of the store. So I'll take you over here to this pan again. Like I said, see that is ready to come out already. You know, if you can see that. If you can see that, it's ready to come out already. You know, because it's going into, see those onions? I'll be straining this grease in just a bit and make my gravy right in the same pan. You see the onions? And the onions make the gravy taste delicious. I hope you can see it because I'm actually holding this in my hand. I don't do well holding the camera. But I'll make sure you guys see the finished look. So it won't be long. These biscuits, so that the video won't have to last another 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and cook the biscuits. Then the oven is already preheated at 460. Like I said, the best if you have an oven that works like a more of an updated kind of new oven, where maybe not more than 10 years old, the 450 would be perfect for you to set your temperature on. So your biscuits are cooked kind of fast. Now, if you like your biscuits dried out, you know, a little dry, you can set your temperature back. And because the longer the biscuits cook, they're going to get a little dried out. I like my biscuits fluffy. Like when I go to Bojangles to get a biscuit, or anywhere to get a biscuit, I'll tell them I want a light biscuit, lightly cooked biscuit. You know, I like my biscuits kind of doughy. You know, just slightly doughy. If you don't like your biscuits like that, you may want to cook your biscuits maybe on 400. You still don't want to turn your oven too low. Yeah, I'm almost done, but just go back, Judy Ann, I believe I see. Just go back when you get a chance, when the live go off, and pull the video back up. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I am trying to grow the channel. It went from 6, because when I started about a month or 2 months ago now, I guess, I only had 6 people, 6 subscribers, you know, because I really didn't do it the way I'm doing now. I actually went on there and looked at other people's videos. I didn't really do it for myself, so now I'm doing both. So now it's up, you know, the subscription is up, considering. I think I got about 118, something like that, which is good, you know, for 2 months. No more than I go on here. And then I get lazy and won't go on here on a regular basis. And I realize that that's the key to growing your channel, is posting something as often as you can. But, you know, I will get lazy and won't do it. But I'm trying to do better. So now I'm going to bring you over here and let you look in this pan one more time. Once I make the gravy, that's it. You know, the video is pretty much done. I'm going to keep from having to hold that pan, let me get something. I'm so afraid that eventually one day I'm going to drop my phone in this pan. But I want to show you something. You see that right there? That's as done as that meat needs to be, because it's going in the gravy. And see the onions? I'm going to pull the onions out because I don't want them to get burnt. And they're going in the gravy right now. So just hold tight. Okay, so I'm taking the onions out. I don't want them to get burnt and back and black. So, and then it's not going to taste like your traditional gravy. And, okay, what they call this stuff stuck in the bottom of the pan, they call it roux. I don't call it roux, but it's important to keep it in there if it's not burned. You know, it's what really makes your gravy taste really good. Let me see if I want to keep it though. They call it roux, but guess what? I don't want it. So what I'm gonna do, cause it's a little charred for me, just a little bit charred, like it was about to burn when I had the first set of cube steaks in there. So what I'm gonna do is pour the grease out, because I still need to use that same grease. And then I'm going to strain it, because this stuff that they call roux got a little bit, you know, a little bit charred, a little bit too charred, and I don't want it in my gravy. And in order to make my gravy, I'm going to use the same flour that I battered the cube steak in. So you see that stuff there? I don't want that stuff in my gravy. So I'm going to take it out. And I need my pan to be cleared a little bit. And I'm not putting that in my drainer because it may stop the drain up. I got a strainer down here catching it. But it works out fine if your pan don't get too hot, like it did for me when I was doing the first batch. It got a little bit, the food got a little bit too brown, so you don't want to keep that in your gravy. So I'm gonna just strain the grease and start over with some fresh flour. Okay, so that made my pan, put my pan back in the shape that I'd like to have it in, see? Normally you would just scrape that stuff up and go ahead, put your little flour in there and move forward. So let me turn my stove back on. And I'm going to strain that little dirty grease. I call it dirty grease. You see, if you can see that stuff, that black stuff. But I still need to use the grease because that's what have the onion and the cube steak taste already in it. So I still strain it because I don't want that black stuff back in it. You don't need a whole lot of grease, but you don't want to have to stop. I don't like to have to stop and start and stop and start. Stop and start. Oh, I need a little bit more grease. I don't like to have to do that. So that's it. The rest of that go in the trash. Okay. So you can just bear with me till I get this gravy going, and then you'll be done. The biscuits should be done by the time the gravy get right. And the video won't be, let me see how long is it. Video 29 minutes already, for real? Well, you know, normally my videos go up to an hour, but that's not gonna happen, not today. So I'm just getting water, hot water. So, cause this gravy will start boiling like really quick. Turn the stove up, and I will bring it over and let you see it. I'll bring the phone over and let you see it. I'm gonna figure a way, at some point, to kind of keep the camera at the stove, so I won't have to pick the food up. Let me see. So I won't have to pick the food up and keep moving you guys back and forth. But let me see. Let me see. I still don't think you can see it because it's trying to follow me. Come back this way. I don't know if you can see the pan at that point. Can you see the pan? Somebody say something. Can you see the pan at this point? So that I won't have to continue picking the, hopefully you can see it because it looked like, let me see. Okay, so what I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to use the same flour that I just battered the cube steak in. And this thing is trying to focus on me. You see that? And depending on how thick you want your gravy, let me see. If I put it over here, you still can't see it that well. If I put it, because it's trying to focus on me. Come on, thing. It's trying to focus itself on me. But you may could see it a little bit. I actually got it sitting on the stove now. You see that flour, the way that flour look? Okay. You can see how that flour just soaked that flour right, the grease just soak the flour right up. I get a little bit more because I do like the gravy thick. I don't need any more grease though, because I use that most of that grease that I just showed you. Okay, so you look at it and you probably wonder what in the world is that, but just watch. So you're browning your flour as you're making your gravy. Okay, that's what you're doing. Yeah, I can see the pan a little bit, so you guys should be able to see it as well. Okay. Okay. Now, this grease is a little bit, I would say, is a little bit lighter than what I wanted, but I'm not going to take a chance and burn this and burn it. So I'm going to go ahead. Come on back over here. Come back. See, the phone actually sit in a little tripod that moves and follow your motion, so it's trying to follow me. So what I'm going to do, if you see what I'm doing, you see that steam? I'm actually pouring water into the gravy mix. The grease, which is nothing but grease. The grease that I cooked the cube steak in, and it is definitely way lighter than what I want it to be. See how light it is? So I have some gravy browner. Now, if you don't have gravy browner at hand, you don't have any of that at hand, don't leave it this light. You may would have to add a little bit more grease, just a little bit more grease from somewhere, or butter, to be able to get that flour browner, browner than what you see here. Now I'm gonna make it browner because I have gravy browner, and I only season I do put just your regular old seasoning salt. It don't have to be Martin. It could be any kind. I put a little bit of seasoned salt in here. Or you can use regular salt, because this gives it a different flavor altogether, just using this salt seasoning that has other seasonings in it. Okay, and I do see how that thing moves with me. A little black pepper. And see how white that gravy still looks? But hold on. Now you're going to see it turn, because I'm going to go step over and get some gravy browner. Oh, it didn't move that time. This is the gravy browner I use. It's not like you need it to help cook, but when it comes out light like this, because I wanted to make sure it didn't burn, and it only takes a tap, because I don't like real dark gravy. And you see, when you put just a tap in there, what it does, and it depends on how dark you like your gravy. I don't like my gravy dark. See how it's turning? I like it to look about like it looks now. You see that? And it's nice and thick, so I'm going to add a little bit more water. Now, I'm on a video. I don't know if I have a video where I made sausage gravy, but I'm going to make some sausage gravy. Now, sausage gravy is designed, well, to be white. So when I make that, that's automatically white, because it's made using buttermilk or whatever kind of milk you want to use. So I'll make some of that at some point on one of these videos. But you see how that looks? That's the way I like mine to look. I really don't want it any darker. Come back here. Come back. It's going crazy. It's trying to turn everywhere but where I want it to turn. So I'm going to put just another tap of gravy browner. And it, like I said, it doesn't take much to make your gravy brown. This stuff will actually make your gravy dark brown, but I don't like my gravy like that. So because it's a little bit thicker than it should be, see, and that's, once it gets to boil a little bit, and you can taste your gravy. I'll be tasting it in just a minute. And the gravy browner also has a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit of seasoning in that as well. So now what I'm going to do is just let this boil just a little bit. Yep, almost done. Okay. All right, because I'm almost done. I'm almost done with the whole meal. The biscuits are almost ready as well. So just hold tight. I'll let you take a peek at everything and I'll end the video. Okay. I bring the gravy to a boil. I bring the gravy to a boil. And then I'm gonna put the cube steaks in the gravy. See that? I guess I gotta adjust this thing because it... Okay. Let me see if the gravy is seasoned right. I actually don't need anything else in the gravy except the meat. Turn back around here. This thing is really hard-headed. Okay, so there's my meat. I'm just putting my meat back in here. My cube steak. I'm adding it to the gravy, being that it is ready. The gravy is ready. You see? I'm just adding it to the gravy. And then I'll just sprinkle my onions around. See that? I guess you see it. And really, that's pretty much it if you see it. That's pretty much it. You let it simmer, and again, you can make your gravy as brown as you want it to be. This is the reason why you don't cook your you don't want to cook your meat too done, because when it goes back in the gravy, you want it to cook with the gravy. You see that? It kind of resembles hamburger and rice, but this is cube steak. And being that the biscuits are just about ready, that's pretty much it. You see, I'll show you the biscuits. I can turn the oven off with the biscuits off. And the biscuits just about got a little bit browner than what I like them. I don't like my biscuits real brown either. I like them, see, they're a little bit browner than what I like them. I don't like them real brown, but there they are. And I like to take them out of the pan as soon as I pull them out of the oven, especially when they're already a little browner than I want them. I know that this thing just turned around and started letting y'all look at nothing. But there are the biscuits. And like I said, I like to take them out of the pan because they will continue to cook. And you saw this, you've seen the rice. I'm just gonna shake the rice up, and I'll put a picture on like one side. The picture is gonna be on the thumbnail when I make the plate. So I'm gonna need to do that now then. You see? That's the cube steak and gravy. And it depends on how, just so I don't have a thumbnail, I'll go ahead and put it in a plate right quick. So I have to actually hold the plate up to the camera to get the thumbnail. I usually shake the rice a little bit, but I'm not going to do it this time for the sake of time. Then a little bit of cube steak on here. Drizzle your gravy on your rice, unless you don't want it on the rice, and onions right on top of the rice. And there's the plate. Look a little funny without something green, but I won't have any greens today. And there's the plate. This will be my thumbnail, so. See that? Doesn't that look good? And that didn't take that long. I will be buttering the top of the biscuits. So there you go. Cube steak, rice, and gravy. You guys have a great rest of your Sunday. And I'm going to end it right there. Thank you so much for coming on. Yeah, bring him on over. Yeah, I got plenty. Burl is actually in church today, this morning. He don't think he's going to come home with any supper, with any dinner, whatever you want to call it. Because I just was lazy this morning. But I said, well, since I hadn't put a video up here in a while, let me go ahead and video this. But there you go. You guys are welcome if you want to come over. You want to eat some through here? Let me taste it. Let me taste it, then that'll be the end. Let me taste it for you. I can tell you the gravy is good. See? Look, here. Open your mouth. And that's not fake. And then let me see how tender. You probably can't see me cutting the meat to see how tender it is. But it is, because I've cut it already. There's a piece of steak. Look at that. Open your mouth. Yes, it is delicious. It's good. So I won't put that in because I'll be chewing that for a bit. But anyway, y'all have a great rest of your day. And if you're anywhere nearby and you know where I am, you're welcome to come by and eat some. How about that? Have a great Sunday. Thank you so much for watching.